first wound that holds a superpower is the wound of I'm not perfect. So this is number one, and this is covered deeply in the book, and will be covered deeply in Mastery 2.0. And so the unconscious wound of the one is the belief that they're inherently flawed or defective. Yeah. So they believe they must strive for perfection to be worthy and accepted of love. So just imagine a little baby and they go, oh, I need to be that way. If I was that way, then, mom and dad will love me. The core belief is they're not good and right to gain approval from love, from others as they are. Does that make sense? So I just want you to visualize this kid. This kid believes, if I just had straighter teeth and prettier hair, then I'd be loved. If I was just more honorable and good. So from an outside perspective, two polar opposite historical figures with absolutely devastating results on one side and absolutely world-changing positive results on another, both orient this way. And that would be Gandhi and Hitler. They both have this wound that there's a perfect way of being and that you need to be perfect and good. So the superpower that comes from this wound is powerful. And the powerful moral compass and intuitive understanding of how they believe the world should be. In those two examples, everyone agrees that one moral compass was right and the other one was wrong. They have an injustice detector and they have a standard of excellence. Okay, so that's the superpower that's birthed out of it. Does that make sense? And so it's standards of excellence. Now, Hannah Nyes, how many of you have had great time with Hannah Nyes? She's our main coach, along with Carrie and everyone else that's in there. Hannah's amazing, and one thing about Hannah is she is right in this this superpower, and she holds high standards of excellence. She will always do what's right. High standards of excellence, and right at and it must be perfect. And there's a way that it's perfect. Now, what's interesting about this superpower on the downside, because of their standards of excellence, they can be super critical about themselves. Okay, obviously, I go into this in depth in the book, right? And they can be very critical of themselves, but that's their superpower that's birthed out of it. Okay, so the second wound is the wound I'm not worthy. Okay, so this wound is of a belief that they're unlovable. Okay, they're unlovable, and to be loved, they must be needed, indispensable, loved, and valued. They must be that helper. So if you imagine the first kid was out there trying to be a particular way, this kid is just being very helpful and helping everyone. And, maybe they just got rewarded for cleaning up or looking after others or caring for people, but they got that their needs are not important, they must help others. So the core belief is that they must meet the needs of others to be loved and valued. Does that make sense, everyone? Can you imagine this little kid? Do you know people that are oriented in the first orientation that are after perfection and super critical? Someone give me a yes if you know that person. Right? And do you know people that are in this orientation where they just seem to want to help everyone else? And unfortunately, a lot of times this helper lets themselves go. Who agrees that when you see helpers out there, they're very bad at getting help themselves. They really have a hard time receiving money for their helping. And they're out there helping everyone else, and they kind of think, if I help everyone else, then I'll get what I want. And then they get really, really upset when the world doesn't give them the money and the praise that they want. And they say, but I've helped so many people. Why is it that I haven't got the things I want? And you see that because they're actually in the wound. They're not actually in the end result of creating money. They're actually trying to be loved by helping everyone else. Very hard to help the helper. So just think about that wound. Now, on the superpower side, right, they have an amazing superpower, right? They have this awareness of what others need. They're fantastic leaders in business, fantastic leaders of teams, bringing people together because they know what others need. They have this emotional, intuitive radar. My wife has this, when she's truly in her superpower, she lives this orientation. She truly lives this. Coach Rochelle, who is one of the founding coaches in MagMind, and Coach Julie, founding coach in MagMind, which I'm sure you know, both orient here with this superpower. They know other people's needs. They get insight, so they harmonize. And so, can you all see and feel the differences? Everyone know people like that. Where on one side they help everyone else and forget about themselves, and then on the other side they truly are great. If they have somewhere to help and they know what everyone needs, they really win. They do amazing. Okay, the third wound is I'm not enough. The unconscious wound of number 3 is I'm not enough. They believe they're worthless or unimportant unless they're successful and appear admirable to others. They believe they must achieve and succeed to be worthy of love and respect. And so this is the orientation that describes unconscious Chris the most. And so when I was unconscious, I was living out this pattern. I got a scholarship in basketball, was a DJ to thousands of people, double degree at university, blah, 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 always trying to get the next achievement, to get the next clap and praise from others. And so when I was unconscious, I was completely in this wound. It was the next goal will finally make people love me. And an overachiever gets born, but they're empty. It's so empty. No achievement can actually be enough because there's always someone out there that's done more or made more money, and as soon as the achievement is over, you wake up the next day going, oh, okay, so I just won that. Now what? I better get another goal, because life is completely empty unless I'm going for a big goal that will be impressive to others. When I was in my unconscious wound, everything was about how others would see the goal. The goal was never for me. It was always trophies to show others, and it was always empty. And you can see people in that dysfunction. When I let go of having the goal of being about everyone else, I had to risk everyone else laughing at me. So I risked it. By the way, we'll coach you through in mastery. You must risk the wound being true. Someone write that down and remind me at the end to go into it. You must risk it being true. So I had to risk that everyone would think that I was not good enough and that what I wanted would not work out. So when I launched Superconscious, it was the biggest risk of my life because no one was ever talking about Superconscious. No one. Until I talked about Superconscious out there, I had a few coaches, but they weren't very good at marketing. You search Superconscious, my name comes up, and then my coaches and trainers come up because of me. When I chose to go all in on what was important to me, not to others, I got mocked by my friends. I got screenshots sent to me that said Chris Duncan SuperCon. They cut out, which is pretty funny. They cut out the conscious part, which made it, let's say, SuperCon. People stopped inviting me around. They called me woo-woo, all the things you can imagine. But then because of that, I'm now a New York Times best-selling author with this huge, huge thing, which I never could have had unless I risked that. And so you have the number 3 has to die to the idea that success is for others. And when you do that, then your superpower can come out. The superpower of the number 3 is the intuitive grasp of how to succeed with something. So we have a sense of how to turn something into reality. Self-presentation, market trends. And so on one side, and as you'll see in the book, by the way, if you've looked in the book, there's a scale. So let me just pull this out. So, and I know you don't have the physical book, right? This is the only physical book in existence. But for each one of these wounds, there's so much more in the book. So we have the dysfunctional level down the bottom here. You see that? So we have dysfunctional. We have 3 levels of dysfunction. Then we share how in each orientation it's functional and then genius. So we have the genius in here and the functional. And then, I don't know if you can see that, but it says there how to heal the wound. Okay, so this book has every one of these orientations in complete detail. It also has a little test you can take to see if that's yours. And then it has dysfunctional, functional, and genius. And then it has a healing. Now, in your library, the healings have been recorded. And you can go into the healings for each one of those. And you can integrate your shadow with those healings. Can someone give me a woohoo or a yes if that's exciting to you? So it's all in there. Okay, they're all sitting in your library. You can listen to them. I've recorded them. That's what you got the ebook with your $29. You got the book. You got all those recordings, the meditations, the whole thing, because it's not just the book. Okay, it's this training as well, of course, and it's all your introduction into mastery, by the way, because all of this is just a scratch on the scratch of what we cover in the mastery program, which you all need to be in. I'm just telling you straight, you need to. Okay, the number 4 is the unconscious wound. I don't belong. Okay, this wound is of the tragic, romantic. They have a belief that they are unlovable the way they are. They're so unique, and that they're an individual, and no one's like them, and that's they don't belong. Does that make sense? They're a complete individual, and because of this belief, this individual, they can be very depressed and feel like they lost love, and they're all by themselves. Okay, they can feel very lonely. But this orientation births an artist. If you've noticed, most musicians talk about what they've lost, about the sorrow, and they really bring color to the world. And if you think about artists, whether they're actors or musicians, they have this depth of emotion, and they're so unique and individual. Someone let me know if you get it, right? They're so unique. We look at artists like a Johnny Depp or a Lady Gaga, or we look at these people, and they can move us because they are individuals. When they fully express their individuality, right, and their authenticity, they create art, because no 2 pieces of art is the same. So these individuals, their superpower is their authenticity and their complete uniqueness. The wound leads them to go down creative pursuits and create art that the rest of us just makes life better. They say, if you look at Taylor Swift, obviously financially one of the most successful artists of all time, and what does she sing about? She sings about lost love, of breakups, of these things. That's what I'm told anyway, right? Like Freddie Mercury. Does that make sense? And so, and it's really interesting, because if you look at maybe some of the rap artists, when they're coming up, they talk about how hard it was and the struggle. And then when they've made all their money, they talk about how no one knows how hard what it's like to be them with all the money that they have, and they're always the different one, And so, Kanye West would be in this. He's always individualized and unique. Does that make sense, everyone? So it's I don't belong, I'm so unique, poor me, and it's I'm an individual, look at me, I'm going to make the world a better place. It's powerful, this stuff, eh? So powerful. Okay, the 5th orientation, okay? Yeah, that's right. And you guys have all got examples of all of these, right? We must die to the wound, right? We must risk it being true, that we are completely individualized and not like anyone else. We must risk it's true. And then Lady Gaga changes the world by walking on stage with meat on her dress, because they are that individual. All right, so the next wound is I'm not capable. Now, what that means is I don't have what it takes to create what I want. Like, I'm not smart enough is the typical one. This person feels like they're not smart enough. Now, this is very deep, all of this work, and over the next 6 months in Mastery, we're going to help you really unpack these at a deeper level and step into your superpower. So I'm not capable, number 5, is the belief that they lack the inner resources and knowledge to protect themselves from the world. And the core belief is that there's a knowledge that they must possess. Okay, so they believe I'm not capable. So what they typically are very unathletic, and they're a bookworm, and they are very intelligent and very smart, but they feel scared of the world, so they retreat to their mind, they retreat to knowledge and video games and books or music, and they get a very, very focused pursuit, okay? And so they get into this focused pursuit. Now, you will see this person walking the halls of every academic institution, university. They deny the world, okay? They deny the world. In the Superconscious Path book, the character that I've got in there, his name's Draymond. And Draymond is a financial university lecturer that was broke. And he would tell everyone else he knew everything about finance, and he would learn it, but he was too scared to go and do it. When he integrated his shadow, he became the financial controller of Vance the Billionaire. Does that make sense, everyone? Because on the other side of this, when they it's the skinny, rake thin, skinny, in their head. Jordan Peterson, the psychologist, would be like this, okay? And on the other side of that, they have this depth of knowledge, and they have the ability to synthesize knowledge and distill it. Their intuition isn't like the others. They're not individualistic or manifesting success or helping others or trying to be perfect and seeing excellence. They get knowledge. They can get into the knowledge and understand it, become super experts. Who do you know that's like this? They might just sit in their office and study and study and study and study and learn, or play an instrument and know everything about the super niche thing, but they're a little bit dysfunctional in every other aspect of life. Like, typically they don't have enough money, or they don't have, their hair's unkempt. Like, just think of the picture of Albert Einstein, right? And, it's like he denies the rest of the world, just focuses on what he wants. Who knows people like this? My grandfather was this. Okay, and so they have this intuitive understanding of knowledge. Okay, the number 6 is the wound of I'm not safe. Okay, they believe that they are unsafe. So just imagine a kid, okay? So number 3, imagine a kid that only gets praised when they achieve something. Number 4, imagine a kid that just feels they're so different and artistic and they don't belong, the black sheep of the family, I don't belong here, super artistic, and that's the way they are. Number 5, bookworm. They're kind of scared of the world, not that athletic, they're in their mind, they love learning and studying. Number 6 is this belief that they're not safe, right? That's the wound, okay? That the world is scary and they need an authority. They're without guidance and support. Many people that are in parts of our culture that don't have a father figure fall into this. They're seeking authority. Now, what's interesting about this wound is that the person that joins the inner city gang and the person that joins the military are both in this wound. They're both seeking an authority. Who's with me, by the way? I know this is deep stuff. I know it's a lot of thinking. I know we've been here for 2.5 hours, but who's with me? Is this good? You guys enjoying it being here? Give me some energy as we ride the wave to the finish of this session, because I think it's really important. Yeah, just making sure you're all there, you're taking notes, and you're loving it. Yeah, awesome. So police officers, army, and inner city gangs all want authority and regiment. They want to know who to follow. The core belief is they seek security and guidance. Okay, they want to feel safe and protected. This is the person most likely to sabotage their own success because they never want to be the authority. They don't want to be at the top. They want to be under the guidance of others. Now, what's fascinating and amazing is this person I love so much. Her name's Brittany. She's in my team, and she orients here. She orients here all the time. Whenever there's a new idea, she always tells me what we need to do, what's wrong, because what they have is they have risk assessment. If I want to invest my money with someone, I want it to be a number 6. I want them to know what are all the threats. They're very pessimistic. They can see what's wrong, and they're also rebels. Their intuition helps them to see where there's going to be pain and problems. Does that make sense? That's why they're out there being police officers and being in the army, and then also being in gangs, is they can see the problems. They want to be safe. They intuitively detect who they can trust and rely on their instincts to know good and right. Right? You really want to have somebody who's gonna, they might not ever go for anything big, but they'll never make a mistake. They'll measure 5 times, cut once. That's this. And their intuition lets them do it faster than the rest of us. They'll let you know straight away this person's not right or this person is. They know intuitively where there's threats. So do you know someone like this? Do you know someone like this? Is they are pessimistic at times. They can always see a problem. In every solution, they can see the 5 ways that it's going to go wrong. Right? And for people, for many of us, for me, that can frustrate me a little bit until I learn to love that I actually need that person to tell me all the things that could go wrong. Does that make sense? Like, that's actually really valuable because I'm too much of an optimist. I'm not looking at any of that. And so that's their superpower. Okay? Very good. Very good. Okay, the 7th is this unconscious wound of not allowed to be sad. Okay, so they missed out on a bit of feminine nurturing, and they're not allowed to be sad. Like, they literally bounce out the sadness. Like, they can't be unhappy, they can't be sad, because life's supposed to be this positive, rosy experience. When you talk to them, they might talk about a really bad experience, like their parent passing away when they were young. They'll be like, yeah, he passed away, but it's all good, it's fine, we got through it. Like, and so the wound is that they're not strong enough to handle negative feelings. That's the wound. Is they can't feel half of life. They will not go there. It's too scary. And boredom's included in that. And so in their wound itself, they have shiny object syndrome. And they never settled, because they can't stay in one place. They can't be bored, but that's the wounded side. They're not allowed to be sad. The hippie movement was based on this idea, right? They're just not allowed. They're not allowed to do it. They cannot go there. They're not actually trusting themselves. It's actually when they were young, they didn't get the ability to just be sad and cry. They had to just deal with it. So they learned there was no point being sad because it gets you nothing. And they just went and played with toys or just pretended that they were happy. And so the challenge comes is that they never stick with anything long enough to see it manifest. However, on the other side of their wound is they are so full of ideas. They love planning, excitement, enthusiasm. This person is such a quick study. They come into my courses and they learn the whole course and they're out there teaching it within the first month. I ring them 3 months later and they're on to another course and they're about to start teaching another person's material. They're like so fast. They're in and out of your life. They have 10 different friend groups that they bounce around. They're high energy, high enthusiasm. Does that make sense? Like literally they are so full of ideas and energy and inspiration and planning, and their superpower is amazing, right? Their superpower is amazing. So can you see everyone on one side, their superpower is enthusiasm, it's intuitive and possibilities and ideas and optimism. And then on the other side, there's the dark side, their wound is this real deep fear of being sad and sticking in one place. When they die to that and they can use their superpower of possibilities and ideas and live in reality that there are tough times, your pet will pass away in your lifetime and you have to deal with it, and that every relationship needs work and there's ups and they can get that, they become a powerful creator. Do you know someone like that? Does anyone know anyone like that? Yeah, they're just always positive, and you think, how are you always positive? But you know that they also, even though they're so positive, they bounce around in life a lot. Yeah. Right, and so the next is I am powerless, number 8, right? The unconscious wound is that they are actually vulnerable and powerless, and that they must counterbalance that and be strong. The belief is that they must be powerful. So that this child grew up in a place where no one was supporting them and they had to be the powerful adult. They often report that they had to adult themselves or grow up quick, and that they need to be powerful. So the belief is that they must be powerful to be respected and be secure, and basically to be in control. So they may have had a very interesting place. What you'll find is in the wound, they'll attach themselves to symbols of power, brand names or fast cars, and they want to be in charge. Okay, so their wound is that they really, really feel vulnerable. They do. Underneath it, they're just absolutely vulnerable, and they decided that they need to be powerful. And so what's interesting about when they're in their wound is they try to control everything. When they're in their power, they understand control. This is the person that wants to be the politician that brings tough change. This is the person that intuitively wants to lead your company and be the boss. They have amazing protection instincts, and they want to take on the hardest challenges. Do you know some people who love that? They want to take on huge challenges, and the rest of us sit there and go, why would you want to take that on? That seems crazy. But their intuition, their joy, their genius comes from taking on big things, right? And they do. They want to do it. Why would you want to? All right, that seems awesome. And so they understand power dynamics and how to control and be the leader. This person's a leader, and I talk about obviously a lot more in the book. So last one is the wound I'm a nobody. They feel overlooked. They feel that they're nobody special, and that their goals don't really matter. They don't really feel that they, sometimes they don't even feel like they're here to do much. They're just here to exist and blob. And their wound is just to be a nobody. And they kind of think having no goals causes them to have a peaceful life. And they're often really, really frustrated when, even though they have no goals and they try to upset no one, people come in and upset their life and change rules, and COVID happens and all these sort of things. And so they kind of just believe that they're a nobody special, and they just believe, well, none of us are special, so why should I have goals? No one should. We should all just be happy with what we've got, and blah. And they just sort of talk themselves out of going for anything. On the other side, on their genius side, their higher side, they have a superpower of healing and harmony. They understand how to heal and bring harmony in others. They are powerful, powerful healers, powerful getting people to get along, amazing coaches, absolutely amazing at being in business, secret weapon behind a powerful CEO. They are fascinating. Very, 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 very amazing creators. One of the amazing things about the number 9 is they kind of feel like they are every single one of what we've said. So they kind of have the excellence of the 1, the helping of the 2, the achievement of the 3, the creativity of the 4, the understanding of the 5, the risk assessment of the 6, the enthusiasm of the 7, the power of the 8. That's basically a number 9. They're a bit of everything. They feel like I'm not any one of those. I'm all of them all the time. So that's their orientation. And so, how was that, by the way? That is the tip of the iceberg of what's in the Integrate Your Shadow book, everyone. That's what the book's about, is understanding those. And for those of you who choose to continue with Mastery, we're going to be going deep on integrating all of those shadows into your superpower. And can I just ask, it's a lot of information, but how many of you know for sure at some point in your life you need to integrate your shadow and do Mastery? Because someone type in Mastery if they know for sure they need to master their superconscious, and that's just what has to happen at some point, whether it's now or later, because there are some big things that we do in Mastery, and nothing's bigger than that. So to really integrate your superpower, number 1, in Mastery, we're going to talk about you living the correct structure. Okay. Number 2, creative visualization and pulling in wisdom. And number 3, to recode your wounded identity. Okay. So, we did the exercise. So, guys, take a breath. How was that? That's a lot. That was a lot. That was a lot. So we all have a dysfunctional shadow self. Richie's going to get one too. It's part of it. We can either have it be what causes us the most pain in life, or we can learn for it to be our biggest gift in life. When it's the biggest gift in life, you live your fullest expression. You're seen for your true self. And to do that, you need to integrate that shadow and to really pull in what it is you love. And boy, has it been the biggest blessing in my life to make that courageous decision to go all in. I'm telling you, it wasn't easy. I had to be frustrated with myself along the way. I had to learn really to risk my wound being true. And that's the key. You have to risk it. You have to risk it. And if you're courageous enough to risk it, then you can get the gift at the other side of the rainbow. Does that make sense? If you're going to try to hold on to your wound and fix yourself and improve it, you're not going to be able to get to the other side. Which is why in the book I've put the dysfunctional, functional, and genius aspect of every single one of those, because you can be living in any way. So let me just read out so you can understand the dysfunctional to functional version of this. Okay, so where is it? So the dysfunctional is the unhealthy state. So every chapter in the book goes through each one. So does everyone remember the number one, the first orientation, the perfectionist? Can I just share this with you? You guys still loving it? You still want more? You don't want me to stop right now, do you? Okay, so the number one that seeks excellence at the dysfunctional level, I'm just reading from the book here. At the dysfunctional level, the number one is self-righteous and fear their ideals may be wrong. They're insecure and seek to justify themselves. They can become obsessive, fostering compulsive behavior and mental distress. They act out with repressed desires and distorts and weakens their core. In the unhealthiest stage, they're driven by an unrelenting pursuit of an unattainable ideal. At the functional level, they fear that others are indifferent to their principles. They become serious and driven and a little bit inflexible. They fear any deviation from their ideals, and they can become fanatical about perfection. At their genius level is liberation. They can relinquish their rigid perfectionism and approach life without reacting to it. They foster self-acceptance and extend the same to others, utilizing their desire for improvement to enhance the world. As a result, they self-actualize, achieve wisdom and emotional resilience. They accept gracefully to life's imperfection while commanding immense respect for their integrity, ethical and self-disciplined purpose and conviction. So for every one of them, I have helped you all go. This is the dysfunctional, function, and genius for every single one. And then every single one of them, I put a healing in here for you, which has a meditation. Okay? And so type 1's meditation benefit from making peace with their internal critic and accepting all parts of themselves. So the meditation helps them to accept all parts of themselves and allow people to just be who they are, and that the only perfection is imperfection. So it's a cracking book, is what I'm trying to say. And you've all purchased your copy with the training and everything else. So that's that. So I guess what I want to say is this was a freaking awesome session. Even more awesome that you all got to meet Richie. And this is the start of a journey for those of you who want to join me and Hannah in mastery. Okay, so we're going to send a text message out for those of you who want to take it. So there's 2 levels of mastery. The top level, I thought I was never going to offer again, but what we are going to offer. The top level is Inner Circle with me. So if you would like to get one-on-one session with me, twice a month coaching and access to all my programs, we have an Inner Circle, which includes the Entrepreneur Program, the High Profit Book Program, the Manifest Anything Program, the Certification, the Intuition Program, the Creative Program, the Transformation Program, and everything in Mastery and Magnetic Mind. You get every one of my programs plus coaching with me. And that's Inner Circle. That's $30,000 for the year to be in Inner Circle. And we've got a few spots available. Most of you will be in Mastery, and that's $99 a week. And that includes the Mastery Program, Intuition, Creator, Transformation. It's phenomenal. So is it okay if I just send you a link that has details to that? And you're able to join if you want, and that sounds good. Now, some of you will already have some aspects of what's in the program, so you just need to have a call with someone on my team to figure out, you know what I mean, what you've already bought, and it'll get organized. So you can organize a call. We do want to have as many people to start with that program because we're going to be conducting the first sessions. Literally in a matter of weeks. We want to get everybody into the program, to get the university, to get their downloads, and to start really getting into this work, which is fantastic. So I see all of you messaging. I think we've had we could do Recode, we could do those things, but I think it's been a really good session, especially from a tired new dad. I'm only a 6-day-old dad right now. I'm a baby at being a dad. But I think it's been a great session. I so appreciate all of you. And I just want to say, we'll never let you down. And I'd love to have all of you in Mastery. So from me to you, I appreciate you all so much. It's great to be on this journey. It's great to see so many names I haven't seen for a while. Come hang out in Mastery 2.0. And let's really create magic over the next 6 months together. It's going to be a fantastic program. I want to see you there. Come see Richie grow and all the insights I'm going to get with that. And I'm so proud to have all 3 of these books now out there in the world creating change. We'll let you know when the physical one's available. That's right. And so, look, if you're ready to upgrade, if you want to have the best program ever, you want to be in Mastery, I cannot recommend it enough. It's changed my life. So, how do I say it? Bloody do it. You can do it. All right, guys. I love you all so much. Remember, we have seen some stuff from this, and big thanks to all of you. And I just can't wait to see you on the very next session. The next session, by the way, we're doing dysfunctional patterns. Where we're going to be going deep onto your dysfunction and unpacking it so that you need it. See you in the program. See you in Mastery. Thanks for getting the book. Thanks for all your support and everything else. Yeah. Bye for now. Bye, everyone.